Hey everybody, Claire here, and today I'm going to show you how to make, I'm pretty sure it's like the Snuggie equivalent to pasta sauce. It is Bolognese Ragu, or Bolognese. I don't know. I spent some time in Italy on my honeymoon and I think that's how they would pronounce it. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is actually from my cookbook, and in the cookbook it's titled boyfriend sauce, but this could just as easily be girlfriend sauce or me time sauce. It's basically just cozy, comfortable sauce that is absolutely delicious, and I'm actually going to use the sauce to make a lasagna in the next episode, so look out for that. But this is fantastic on top of pasta, or just eaten with a spoon if you want to roll that way. And it's also really easy to make. The big key thing here though is time. This is the kind of sauce that you make on a Sunday, you put it on the stove at 2 o'clock and you eat it at 7 o'clock. This is like full-on Nona sauce. You wanna let it simmer, you wanna let it simmer real low, and just everything comes together. Because you'll see, when I first put it all together, it kind of looks like, what is that? And then by like 4 hours into it, it's like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing, and the house smells fantastic. Anyway, it's pretty easy to put together. So I have a pound of chuck, which is ground beef. I have a pound of ground pork. I have a 1/4 cup of diced bacon, but you could also do diced pancetta if you wanted to. I have a few cloves of garlic that are minced. I have 3/4 cup of pretty finely diced celery. Ditto 3/4 cup of finely diced carrot. I have 1 whole onion that's been diced up. So this is mirepoix, which is a very classic sort of base for European cuisine. So onion, carrot, celery, it's like hits all of the flavors basically. I then have a 1.5 cups of milk, and milk actually tenderizes the meat and makes it a little bit sweet, which is really lovely. I have 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, and then I have 1 big fat glass of wine. It's a cup of Sauvignon Blanc, but you can use basically any dry white wine's fine. And then for the fat, I have 4 tablespoons of butter, and I'm gonna use a few tablespoons of olive oil, but trust me, this is where it's at. So the first step to making the bolognese is browning the meat. So I'm going to add my 4 tablespoons of butter, and then I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. Olive oil has a much higher cooking temperature than butter, so this way, mixing the two of them, it just means that you can cook at a higher heat without it burning. The butter has melted, so I'm just gonna add the meat in. So while this is browning, I'm actually gonna start adding the other vegetables. So I'm gonna add the onions, the celery, carrots, the garlic, and the bacon. So basically I'm gonna cook this together until the meat is fully browned and all the vegetables have softened up a little bit, so about 15 to 20 minutes. So everything is nicely browned, the vegetables have softened up, and it smells awesome in here. I love how just like onion, garlic, carrot, and celery just smell so good whenever they're cooked together. So I'm now gonna add my cup of white wine directly to it. And I'm basically going to stir together and let it bubble and cook off until the white wine has evaporated. Next, I'm going to add the milk, and then the big can of diced tomatoes. And then I'm gonna add a giant pinch of salt. I'm gonna add more salt and taste it later, but this is just a little bit to get everything started. And then pepper as well. So as you can see, this doesn't look like much of anything, but in 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, it's gonna be really glorious. So I'm just gonna have this cook on low heat until it is basically the texture of oatmeal. It smells wonderful, and I'm actually gonna serve this in a very traditional fashion with tagliatelle, so it's gonna be really great. Well, I'm gonna add a little bit of butter because, you know, why not? Straight into it. And I like doing this at the end because it actually is a really nice way to sort of emulsify everything. It really brings everything together and gives it this wonderful sheen. Okay, so now I'm gonna add this directly to my freshly made pasta. It's funny, in Italy, they don't do a ton of sauce. They always do sort of like just a nice dressing of it. So I'm not doing too much sauce, but you can always add more if you want. So while I toss all of this together, I'm also gonna put a ton of Parmesan on top. So time to just kind of twist it and add it to my bowl. And then, because why not, I'm gonna top it off with even more Parmesan, and then a tiny drizzle of olive oil for some freshness. All right, this looks insane. I cannot wait to try it. Oh, that is so delicious. It's so classic and so simple, and it just comes together beautifully. So I love this simply on top of tagliatelle, but it's gonna be fantastic in the lasagna I'm making next, so make sure to look out for that video as well. All right, well, until next time, I'm gonna take this and go just eat it somewhere else, but bye.